Good morning, Bickies. How's it going? It's Tara. Nice to see you this morning. Well, I can't see you, but nice to be here this morning. I hope you're all good and you're safe and warm and, getting into your day's flow. It's 11 o'clock now on Wednesday, the 21st. I always have to check my calendar. And I hope you're having a good month so far. I can't believe it's almost December. We'll just ignore that bit, shall we? Okay. So you're tuned into the Biscuit Box. Every Wednesday at 11 a.m. we talk about creativity. We talk about marketing. We talk about business. We talk to creative people about their projects or different exhibitions they might be attending or setting up. And we discuss things. And I'd urge you to engage with the Biscuit Box and give your opinion on what we're discussing. Share your knowledge and your insight from wherever you are in the world and what's happening in your world as well. And it's always good to be able to do that in a safe environment around topics that everybody gets hit with and everyone at some stage or other has to deal with. And today's topic on this week's Biscuit Box, I want to talk to you about how to deal with abusive customers and in the same breath criticism around what you do. And it's an interesting topic. It's something I think every business owner has to deal with at some point in their journey, and I think it's something that's not discussed enough because it's like that big hairy elephant in the room where it's going to happen to you at some point, and I'll talk a little bit about that in a second. But it's not what we like to talk about, or it's not. I guess it's not the reaction or how it makes us feel isn't talked about because it shows our insecurities. It shows us as, I guess, the weaker side of us, if you could call it that, on how this shit really has an impact on you as a person. And I think the more we talk about it and the more we learn how to deal with it, I think that's the key. It's how you deal with stuff, because it's going to happen to you anyway, but it's how you deal with stuff. That's the important bit. So I'm just going to wait for a few people to hop in. And in the meantime, I want to say to you, if you're enjoying the Biscuit Box and you want to subscribe to the Biscuit Box and get notified when we go live, just put 7 into the comments below this video and you will get a notification when we're live. So just put in 7. Okay, I want to see if anyone's in with me. Hey, Jerry, how's it going, Jerry? Big heart to you, Jerry Fortune. Angela, hey, how's it going? Hey, Karen Hickey, how's it going? There's a few people in. Great stuff. Okay, so I'm going to dive straight into this content today. And the first thing I want to say to you is the whole topic of criticism around your work. And I know how difficult it is to digest that. But I want you to keep this in the forefront of your mind. Something that Aristotle said. If you want to avoid criticism, you say nothing, you do nothing, and you be nothing. So criticism is nearly a great reflection on you making shit happen, that you're actually doing something with your life, right? You're creating, you're putting you out there, you're sharing the vision of what you want to do. You're passionate about what you want to do. You're not following the herd. You're going against the grain and standing up for what you believe in, and you're not afraid of it. And I go deep with this with people that I work with in the Biscuit Factory and people that I work with when I run the foundation program. As creative business owners, we are putting us, the creative behind the work, in front of an audience. And that in itself is challenging. Why? Because you're in the firing line for criticism for abusive customers, which I'm going to talk about in a second, but also for all the good stuff, right? So, but it's difficult and it's challenging in so many different levels because you're always on. You always have to turn up. You have to be the front of your business. But it is important, as I teach in the foundation program, because the creative, you, the person that is creating, the person that sits at their desk or in their studio or at a window or walking in a forest or just walking around consuming your inspirational elements in your life every day, the stuff that triggers your passion, your creativity, you're the one bringing that to the world. So people always say to me, Tara, how am I going to stand out in this really busy business landscape like this? Like, how am I going to stand out? The only thing we have that's different to everybody else in our space is us, the creative, the person that comes up with the idea in the first place, the person that makes it happen. We are the person, we are what will stand out in our space. We are that standing out thing, right? And so putting yourself, you as the creator, in front of what you do is very, very powerful and very important if you're going to grab attention and showcase your work and your passion and your why to an audience. And I think it's underestimated. I think people need to zone into the beauty of being a creative mind, being a creative person. It's what we have that nobody can take away from us. Okay, so that's really important. But when you do put you out in front of an audience, and as I just mentioned, you're standing there naked going, it's intimidating for you as the creative, right? Yet you understand its importance, okay? So that criticism is going to come, and I've been in business 25 years now. I've run different businesses. I've had thousands of customers today because I used to run restaurants and cafes and deal with the public all the time, and thousands of people in and out, and you know, there's so much volume of people that you're dealing with, and so you have to accept that you're going to get criticism. And again, as Aristotle said, you can't avoid it. If you're doing creative work, especially, like it will come. So the teaching and the advice and the learning and the conversation that I'd like to start today is, well, how do you deal with it when it does come? Because it will. How do you deal with it? And I think it's really important, firstly, to deal with it. It's really, really important to be aware that not all criticism is a bad thing, that it's actually an important thing and a good thing. And I think to recognize when the negative feedback that you're getting is criticism, for constructive criticism, and on the flip side, that negative feedback or attack that you get is abusive. And I think there's two very distinctive reactions to that, and two very distinctive I guess nearly a troubleshooting process for yourself to actually know, okay, this is definitely in this category. This is how I deal with this type of communication back to me. So we're going to talk about those two this morning. So to understand the power of criticism in a constructive way, 9 times out of 10, when people are critical of your work, or you even, which marries in the creative world, of course, 9 times out of 10, that criticism has to be taken to help you grow and get better at what you do. So when you feel, or when you hear or get that criticism back directly, look at it like a mini learning module. Look at it like, this is brilliant research because I don't see my service, or I don't see my product like the customer. They see it from a different perspective. So take the criticism, embrace the criticism, love the criticism, because that's how you're going to learn, and that's how you're going to better your service and your offering. If you tend to get very defensive if someone criticizes what you do, which sometimes can be a default reaction in humans, well, feck off, like, do you know how long I've worked at this piece? How dare you criticize the little glitch at the back, or that it's not signed, or whatever it is that feels so irrelevant to you as the creator. But I don't want you to think like that. I want you to go, oh, that's really important to the customer. You see, it's not important to me, but I'm not selling to me. My work is not for me solely. Yes, it is to a point, but it's not for me solely. It's for them, right? That's important to them, because they're giving out to me about why isn't it there, or wouldn't it be better if, listen to that. And I can't underestimate enough the power of listening to your customer, gang. Listening. It is so important, even if it is really challenging to listen to criticism, and you feel like telling the critical feedback to please go away. You're ruining my life, because that's what it feels like, doesn't it? It just ruins your day. It's like a big heavy cloud over you for the whole day, if not week, if not months. It depends on how intense it is. We'll talk about that in a second. But I want you to open the hairy armpits and embrace the criticism. Learn from it. Listen to your customer and apply what you have been told directly or indirectly, perhaps, to your business. Never ignore criticism. It's vital for growth. And I've been in business a long time. And what I've learned is, when you engage with criticism and when you listen to your customer and accept the criticism, you not only are learning as a person, this is okay. So this is something that's positive, which shifts your mind to a different place. And not only are you getting direct feedback that will improve your service or your product, which is gold in business, and we're always improving, and we're always wanting to get better at what we do for our customers. But not only that, we're showing the customer that we give a shit, that we actually want their input, whether it be positive or negative. That's important. So open the hairy armpits for criticism, engage with it, learn from it. Okay, so that's that side of what we're talking about, how to deal with criticism, right? There's that constructive criticism, which is vital. But there's another criticism I want to talk about: abusive customers. They are two very different species. So I want to talk to you about abusive customers. How do you deal with abusive customers? Okay, before I go into that, I'm just going to pop into the comments to see, is there any comments or who's in with me this morning? Great. Hey, Elena, how's it going? Hey, Rachel, how are you? Hey, Daphne, how are you? Hey, Lynn, how's it going? Okay, so abusive customers. And I think in life, we can nearly paint this with a nice warm color across life, not just customers, but people that we have dealings with or relationships with. And when the abusive behavior happens, where people personally attack what you do, that's a different ball game. It happens. I don't know if it happens a lot. For me, in 25 years of doing business, it has happened once to me. When? Last week. Hence the prompt to this live stream on how to deal with it. And I'll tell you something, it knocked me for six. I didn't see it coming. I wasn't and did not prepare for that impact, but by feckin' God, did I learn from it. And this is what I learned, and I want to share that with you this morning. When someone attacks you personally around your work and what you're doing, the first thing I advise you to do is listen. Try and pick out the learning from it, if at all possible. But I also want you to recognize that this abusive behavior is not about you. It's not you. This goes deeper with somebody else's life. And I think it's important to reflect that back to say, okay, I'm obviously the target of something else. This isn't really about me. That is really easy to think and easy to say to yourself, okay, this isn't about me. But I know, and you know, that it goes really, really deep and it consumes your thought process, which prompts this. And I want you to keep this in your head because it's my mantra. I will not give you that power. You are not consuming my brain. You can take your abusive thoughts, and I appreciate everybody has their thoughts and everyone has their opinion, but you can take them and keep them because I am not letting you have that power over me. I have more important things to do. And I think if we can retract that and nearly give it back, thank you for that. Thank you for sharing it. But you can keep it because it doesn't belong to me. That's your stuff, not mine. And I did this, and I swear to God, lads, it works because you realize, A, this is not about me. B, A, this is not about me. B, I'm not letting that abusive behavior control my thought process. And C, we have more important things to focus our mind on too. And that is the thought process and the thinking that I want you to plug into your mind when and if abusive behavior comes into your world around what you do. Very powerful stuff. It's a mindset shift. And as we all know, shifting the way we think about things can change everything in our lives and change everything in our business. Thinking bigger of what you can actually create with your work, accepting that you are good enough, that you are doing amazing things with your creativity, and also giving back the abuse to the person that is giving you that, saying, I don't want it actually. And I would emphasize also not to engage deeply with an abusive person. Listen, take it, and then I think silence is an important thing, because the more you engage, the more you try and convince that person that they're wrong, you're escalating the problem. You're escalating your involvement in the abuse. And I think that is very dangerous from your side, from this is consuming me now and my thought process because I want the person to think like me. I don't want them to think that about what I do. That's not what I'm all about. But you're talking to a brick wall because it's not about you, you see. So my advice is take the constructive criticism, learn from it, love it, because that's how you're going to get grow. But the minute abusive personal attacks come into your world, block it. Remove the person from your thoughts, from your community, from your from the nearly natural want to change the way they think or change that attack to something else. It's not about you, okay? And I think That's really important. I would also say not to be afraid to take a stand by silence. And silence is an important one because you're very blatantly saying, I don't want to deal with this. And not that you don't want to deal with it. I don't want to have this in my world. And you choose what you take in your world and what you don't. So when it comes, you block it, you remove it, and you focus on the important things in your business and your world. The people that do get you, the people that love what you do, the people that will support you, and let the other people just go over there and do a happy dance with whoever they want to. That's okay. But don't let it consume you, because that is giving the abuse the power. And you don't want to give abusive behavior power over you. Fuck it. Fuck abusive behavior. I have no tolerance to it, and it's not coming into my world. So there you go. Okay, gang. Now that was from the heart because it's so fresh in my mind. But I wanted to share that with you, and I know everybody has come into that at some point in their lives or in their worlds, and I think it's important discussion, and I'm interested to hear your opinion on that. And does this resonate with you, and has it happened to you? We all get criticism. Again, as I say, that's important. It's the abusive thing that I haven't had experience with, and it was an amazing, intense journey for 2 days where I went, whoa, what's this? Okay, hang on a second. How do I deal with this? Okay, this is how I'm going to deal with it. And it worked. The power of the mind, gang. We're in control. Our mind is so powerful. Our mindset is so powerful. It can change everything. Okay, so who's saying stuff to me? Okay, okay, Jerry says, totally agree. Thanks, Jerry. Hey, Agnieszka, Jerry, or Daff says, I found that the abusive customer has problems of their own. I've had a couple in 42 years. When you ask them what's the matter, they usually melt and tell you. That's a great point, Daff, as well. And if you have that opportunity, absolutely. Again, it's listening to people, isn't it? And I think there's always a point to recognize, no matter what you say or what you do, they have to go through their own journey, and they have to sort that thought process out for themselves. And if it's always there, there's nothing really you can do to fix it. And I think what's important too is, when you do engage with it, you're spending a lot of time trying to fix someone else's problem or someone else's issue or someone else's opinion. And we can't always do that. And time is our most precious commodity. Our time is worth millions, right? And if we spend it on trying to fix something that we can't, or trying to get someone to think the way we do, when we could be over here engaging with our customers and creating new work and doing all this amazing positive stuff. Instead, it's funny how as humans we tend to want to fix things and we want to make people feel better all the time. That zaps energy, time, and creativity. And I think we need to be careful with zoning into that. I think, no, reflect it back. Sorry about that. No, I need to focus on this group of people who get what I do, who love what I do. And sorry, like, this is important. Like, bigger picture. It's not about us. It's about our world. It's about what we're trying to create for people, right? Rachel says, love that, Tara, like putting a little Barry up to bounce it back, not my anger. Absolutely on it, Rachel. Or abuse, she says. Absolutely. That's, you're spot on. That's it. Like, you need to protect yourself as well. Absolutely. Alina says, thanks, Tara, for this. So important to remember this mindset and be under this umbrella. Absolutely. That's it. And it's something that's not talked about a lot in business, yet it happens to everybody. And as creative people, we take things so deeply, and we feel things so deeply because we are so connected emotionally to what we do that it stabs you so deep. And that's what consumes us, that deep emotional connection to it. So if we block it, accept it, though. I'm a big believer in accepting whatever comes. All the stuff comes, you filter it, don't you? Well, that's constructive criticism. I'll take that. Thank you. I'll learn from it. And thanks for that so much, by the way. The abusive stuff, yeah. Here we go. No thanks. Hang on. I'm sending that back on post. Come here. You forgot this. I don't want it. Return to sender, please. Send it back and send it with kindness. That's really important. Always send it with kindness. Never be abusive back. Why? That doesn't encourage anything. That doesn't solve anything. Curse to yourself in the mirror if you want, but wrap everything in kindness, gang, because people that are in that space, in their lives at that time need kindness more than anybody else. So if we always wrap everything in kindness, it can change the way everybody feels about themselves and each other. So that's it for this morning. Hang on, I'm missing loads of comments. Sorry. Lynn says, deals with this regularly with disability rights, fundraising and blogging is concerned. I'm still learning from it. And Lynn, you were an amazing woman, I tell you. And you know what? I'd love to get you on a live, Lynn, to share your journey. I'll PM you on that. I think that's an important one, especially around this topic and what you do. Lynn is amazing. Larry says, well said indeed. Walk away, cut your kisses, and find good people who love your stuff. On the ball, Larry. That's it. Like, it's simple, isn't it? I think it's important for us to really zone into it and remind ourselves, though, right, that that's what we need to do. It's like, how do I post this box off? I need a box, I need sellotape, I need a stamp. How do I deal with abusive stuff? I need to do this, this, and this, and have it nearly put on your wall. If this happens, step 1, step 2, step 3, and not let your emotions get too involved with it. Jerry says, I've only been abused by a jealous person. I really didn't give a hoot. It was actually great because when they said what they said, I didn't have to deal with them anymore. There you go. Well, that's it. That's it, Jerry. Good for you, girl. Okay. Daff says, both of mine were trying to get out of paying. That's interesting, Daff. I like that. Nearly, how do we do? Actually, that can be next week's show topic. How do you deal with people that are trying to get away from paying you for what you do? Brilliant. Thanks, Steph, for that. Noting it. Emma says, hey, Emma says, there's no point lowering to their level. Stand your ground, and then silence is the best way to deal with it. It's so hard to change your focus when you're really consumed, but so important to ignore. It's their problem and don't make it yours. Great job, Tarabu. Thanks, Emma. And wise words there, girl, wise words. Hey, Karen, thanks. Okay, gang. There's lots of more comments. I just want to read one more. Sorry. Agnieszka, hi. I found your words very supportive today. I'm glad to hear that, and I hope it helped you a little bit. Alan says, there are 2 types of people in the world, drains and radiators. Brilliant. It's important to recognize who falls into each category and avoid drains like the plague. I love that, Alan. That's brilliant. Love that analogy. Fair play. Thanks for that. Okay, gang, I'm going to leave you go. Thanks so much for engaging with the Biscuit Box today. And every Wednesday at 11 a.m. we'll be live sharing some insight and connecting you to the creative community in a deeper way as well. So thanks so much for listening, and I hope this has helped. And continue the conversation with creative people that you know, and it's always a good thing to show support if anyone is going through that abusive journey or stuff like that happens. Having that conversation every now and again with people in your world can help people a lot. So let's not ignore it. Okay, gang, talk to you. Keep creative. Thanks. Bye.